Shortly after, we were left dealing with the aftermath of the captains, while Sano-san and the Fury Corps disappeared as if they were smoke. All of the warriors were tending to the casualties. After having finished his treatment, Soma was called in by Hijikata-san.
今回の奴らの襲撃は伊藤派が抜けて一時的に戦力が落ちたのを狙ってきたって考えるのが妥当だな。
やはり斉藤君や平助が抜けたのは痛い。今回は三男君が出て事なきを得たが、
その代わりにこいつが三男さんと会っちまったわけか。
The captains surrounding Soma all seemed to share the same prodding glares. However, Soma was unfazed by it all, and he asked them the same question he asked me.
土方副長、教えてください。あれは一体何者なんですか？
あれってのは何のことだ？
両方です。襲ってきたものも、守っていた白髪のものも。
近藤さん、どうする？
まあ雪村君のことを任せた時からいずれは話さねばならぬと思っていた。
Where's the other boy that you put in charge? You know, where's Nomura? Damn it.
それが今になっただけの話だ。カモン、続けてくれ。
まずは襲ってきたやつだが、奴は薩摩藩の協力者だ。自らを鬼と名乗ってやがる。
鬼だと。確かにあの強さは鬼と呼んでいいもの。今の俺ではまるで歯が立たなかった。しかしそれより気になるのはその鬼が先輩を狙っていたことです。
Yeah, about that, Soma.
ああ、正直俺たちもまだ半信半疑ではあるんだがな。
Hijikata-san looked over at me, glancing as if he'd want me to further explain his answer, so I nodded. Well, according to them, I supposedly come from a demon clan.
雪村先輩が鬼？
Honestly, I still don't know. I mean, I've lived a pretty normal life, so I'm not quite sure what to make of being told I'm a demon all of a sudden. Still, it is true that my body does some things that aren't the same as the average person. For example, serious injuries of mine heal quickly. Of course, to a skeptic, one could write it off as my body having exceptional healing or something, but a part of me felt convinced by what they'd told me the minute they called me a demon.
それから、お前たちを助けたのが羅刹だ。鬼とはまた違うが、常人ではありえない力を持ったものだ。
あの人たちは味方ですか？
味方だとも。表沙汰にはしていないが、三男君が率いる新選組の一部隊という扱いだ。
それは表沙汰にできないだけの理由があるということですね。
Soma's sharp inquiry made Hijikata-san sigh, and then the latter glared back at him.
お前には雪村を守れと命じていたが、それ以上関わるつもりなら、守るのはそいつだけじゃなくなるぞ。新選組の闇に関わり、その秘密も守らなきゃならなくなる。お前にその覚悟はあるか、相馬和恵。
俺は全てを知った上で新選組の一員でありたいです。
Soma was showing no signs of wavering from his resolve, and Kondo-san nodded to him.
教えてください。新選組の本当の姿を。 羅刹とは元はただの人間が落ち水で変じた存在。
羅刹になった者は白髪となり、異常な力と再生力を兼ね備えた剣気と化す。
And the person who was performing all of this research was my father, Kodo Yukimura. The Furies, the Water of Life, and my father. After everything was disclosed to him, Soma sat there in shock.
ではまさか江戸で俺がもらった絵は。
その通り、羅刹を描いたものだ。あの時は驚いたよ。君がそんなものを持っていたからね。
So the artist knows what a Fury is?
ああ、知ってるはずだ。あいつ、伊吹は俺たちの古い馴染みだからな。
I want to get into Ibuki's story, but unfortunately, any game that involves Ibuki, that at least with the origin story, no translation whatsoever, which is a fucking shame.
お前が新選組に来る前の老子組って呼ばれてた頃のな。
I had noticed that when Hijikata-san began talking about this artist, Ibuki, he seemed genuinely happy. I would have never guessed that Ibuki had known the Shinsengumi men all those years ago. I thought it was nice that Hijikata-san was waxing nostalgic about it, but something peculiar came to my attention. If I'd really put all the pieces together, it was obvious that Ibuki's drawing was of a Fury. So that means he, too, found out about the secret, and he departed from them soon after. I wasn't sure exactly what caused him to leave, but I'm sure that it was because of something that didn't sit well with the Shinsengumi men. Because when everyone found out of his whereabouts, it seemed like everyone felt relieved. So that must mean that when someone learns about the Shinsengumi secrets, we are inviting an entire world of danger.
落ち水、羅刹、鬼。今の話はどれも新選組の根幹に関わる内容だ。外に知られたら組織自体が揺らぐ。故に口外したら容赦はしねえ。それでもいいって誓えるか。
誠の旗に誓います。
誠の旗か。そんなことを言ったのはお前が初めてだ。
Man, that's some deep loyalty, Soma. Holy shit.
忘れるんじゃねえぞ、今の誓いを。
Hijikata-san left the room, and behind him was the cool breath of winter breezing in the hallway. Soma and I walked together down the hall, staring up into the night sky, and I spoke to him as he contemplated deeply. Are you alright, Soma?
まだ頭の中は混乱してるけど、だいたい分かった気がします。どうやら俺には、俺の目指す武士道だけじゃなく、新選組の秘密や雪村先輩のこと、命に変えても守らなくちゃならないものがどんどん増えてきたみたいです。
Soma laughed it off so nonchalantly. But for me, I couldn't get myself to laugh along with him. Please, Soma, don't talk about risking your life lightly.
雪村先輩。
I was scared when you were battling Kazuma. I thought you would die. If something like that ever happens again, please don't push yourself too hard. Please, take priority in making sure that you're safe first.
雪村先輩、すまないが、それはできない。
Why?
もし自分が助かりたくて先輩を差し出すような真似をしたら、俺はこの先胸を張って歩めない。だから自分の思いは曲げない。たとえそれが先輩の命令だったとしても。
I didn't really have a response to that, and all I could do was stare up at the constellations. This man. He was always so stern yet tactless, which I suppose is a credit to his honesty. Maybe in some ways, Soma sees a lot of himself in Kondo-san. Such thoughts entered my mind as the winds carrying the scent of spring blew around me. After time passed to the following day. Good morning, everyone.
ああ、おはよう、雪村くん。ゆうべはよく眠れたかい？
Guess what time it is? It is time to skip. And our mission to do all 12, 13 routes. We gotta go through this game that many times. And we're almost there. Just requires a little bit of skipping to do. Alright, so we're getting kicked out of the Nishihonwanji temple because the monks didn't like all of the fighting, and we kind of broke a rule of fighting on temple grounds. So, we're getting kicked out. But they decided to buy us a plot of land and build us a new headquarters that is very fitting and has its own dojo and bathhouses and everything, so we'll be fine. A little strange that they offered this off the bat instead of, you know, 2-3 years ago. And it's July. Ow. Alright, we're in the new headquarters now. It took 1 month. July 1867. We had to leave the Nishihonwanji temple, which served as our headquarters for a while now. The Shinsengumi chose our new location to be south of our now former base, in a village called Fudodo. This time, we weren't renting our headquarters like we did at the... I need to stop yawning now. Here comes it. Alright. This time we weren't renting our headquarters like we did in the Yagi residence or the Nishihonwanji. Kondo-san seemed delighted for this opportunity, knowing it was something we could all call our own. A little while had passed since we relocated, and the positivity from our new setting continued. What's with these faces, and why with the ellipses? Soma and I were waiting for our guests to arrive in my room. Soma, you don't have to be so nervous.
別に緊張などしてません。
Are you sure? Contrary to his words, Soma had been pacing back and forth in my room for several minutes. There were no doubts in my mind that he was, indeed, nervous. But I kept quiet, since I thought it was rude to speak up about it. But Soma responded again.
緊張ではありませんが、前に三男総長に会った時はあのような状況でしたから。改めて顔を合わせると思うと、どうも身構えてしまって。
A previous meeting with him wasn't one where we could easily sit down and talk.
はい。風間という鬼との戦いに羅刹。一体何が起きているのかついていくので精一杯だった。
On that day, the demons attacked the headquarters. Soma Soma triggers the yawning response. Soma had fought Kazuma, risking his life in the process to protect me. He was badly injured, and he was actually close to being killed, but he never backed down. It seemed as if his wounds had been healing well since then, but thinking back to that day about how badly he was hurt, it made my heart feel heavy. If I were being completely honest, I wished so deeply that he would never face such pain again.
どうかしたんですか、先輩。
It's nothing. Anyways, I think Sun is going to come here soon. Are you ready?
はい。でもまさかこの俺が羅刹隊の人たちの世話を命じられるとは思わなかった。
The Fury Corps represented the darker side of the organization, so of course, to outsiders, and even internally, it was a closely guarded secret. So this whole time, the cleaning, laundry, food preparation, and other chores were all being handled by me alone. However, since Soma had found out about the Fury Corps, Soma, and pretty soon Nomura, would start joining me.
しかし、世話と言っても何を手伝えばいいんですか？
I think it would be better to get the information from Sun directly. He should be arriving here any moment. And as if on cue, I heard a cool voice responding from outside in the hallway.
夜分遅くに失礼します、雪村君。
Sun, I've been expecting you. He nodded, and then Sun entered before smiling towards Soma. However, I got the sense that through his smile, he was probing Soma with observant eyes.
さて、はじめましてと言えばいいのか、お久しぶりですと言えばいいのか。
I think nice to meet you is... well, actually, no. Holy shit. I don't know which one it is, Sanan. Even I don't know.
先日会った時は戦場でしたし、あなたとまともに話すのは初対面の時以来ですね、相馬和恵君。まさかあの時の少年が新選組に入って近藤さん好きの小姓になるとは思いもしませんでしたよ。
俺もです。ですが今はこうして新選組大使の一人としてここにいます。俺が入隊した時は三男総長が亡くなられていたと聞いて驚いたんですが。
Soma was looking straight at Sun. Sun then smirked jokingly, as if he was amused by Soma's sentiment.
残念ながら足は生えていますよ。ある意味幽霊のようなものではありますが。
失礼しました。
Oh my god. Sun, please don't play around with him too much.
ほんの冗談ですよ。雪村くんも素直な後輩ができてよかったですね。
Sun kept snickering to himself, and then he turned to look towards me. Again, I swear to... Sanan needs to just be represented with snakes. That's how I feel he is. Also give him a pet snake. He'd probably take very good care of it. That's it. That's all. I had known that he was only poking fun, but as Soma's teacher, I was a little happy to hear my student being praised.
さて、近藤さんと土方くんからはいろいろと聞いています。何でも相馬くんは雪村くんともども羅刹隊の世話係を任されたそうです
が。はい、よろしくお願いします。
こちらこそ しかし世話とは言っても取り立てて気を使う必要はありません。君の仕事は食事や洗濯の用意、あとは時折買い物を頼むぐらいですから。
それだけですか？
ひょっとして血でも吸われると思いましたか？
When you say it like that, it doesn't sound like a joke, Son-on-Son. Son-on-Son continued grinning in a self-serving way, and his eyes squinted behind his glasses frame. God damn it, Son-on! Ah! Okay. See, now I'm just debating giving my OC a son en route. I don't know!
むしろ相馬くん、そんなことより君にはもっと大事な仕事があります。世話係ならこれだけは覚えてください。決して羅刹隊の居所である屯所の奥に一般の大使を立ち入らせないこと。情報が漏れるのはもちろん、研究の邪魔をされても困りますからね。人を羅刹に変える飛躍、落ち水の研究です。
人を羅刹にって、それはやっぱり。
この新選組はこれまでずっとその研究を続けてきたのですよ。
Son-on-Son, are you sure you want to tell him that?
ええ、土方君からは全てを話しても構わないと言われています。話を聞かせた上で、私にも相馬くんの人となりを見極めるようにと。
But Soma truly respected the Shinsengumi. To share with him their dark side is... Well, maybe I was worrying for nothing. Not only did Soma seem steadfast in the moment, but I saw his passion burning brighter than ever before.
教えてください。落ち水と羅刹について。
ええ、もう一部の事情は土方君たちから聞いているでしょうが、かつて新選組はとある筋に命じられ、この落ち水という薬の実験を始めました。
The water of life was a taboo serum that contained the power to change humans into furies, granting them abilities, superhuman strength, and regeneration powers. I stayed quiet as he explained everything.
羅刹は戦力として非常に有用ですが、当然それだけの力が何の憂いもなく手に入るはずがない。羅刹になった者は白髪に赤い目へと姿を変え、絶えず吸血衝動に襲われ続けます。癒されぬ喉の渇きに苦しみ、それを潤すために人間の血を求めてさまようことになるのです。
それではまるでただの化け。
It seemed as though Soma had realized his words may offend the man in front of him, so he quickly shut himself up and stopped there. However, Son-on-Son had no reaction, perhaps unfazed by his comment, and he shrugged it off.
ええ、確かに化け物です。そのままではそう言われても仕方ない。ですが、現在は研究の成果もあって、吸血衝動もある程度抑えられています。
What? Is that true?
雪村君も見たはずですよ。先日賊を撃退した時の統制が取れていた彼らの姿を。
Come to think of it, I had been attacked by a fury before. At the time, calling them blood-crazed monsters probably would have been the perfect way to describe them, but compared to then, the warriors we saw helping us were perfectly competent and self-aware.
もちろんまだ完全とは言い切れません。吸血衝動も昼夜の逆転も残っている。しかし有効な実証結果がいくつか出ているのは事実。今後はそれを突き詰めていくつもりです。そのためにも行動さんが見つかればありがたいのですがね。
行動、誰ですかそれは。
Soma seemed confused by his mention, so I meekly chimed in. Kodo Yukimura is my father, and he's the person responsible for bringing the water of life into the Shinsengumi.
雪村先輩のお父上が。
Did we not make this clear before? Or was that just a localization thing that fucked this up again?
雪村くんが性別を偽ってまで新選組にいるのはそれが理由です。私たちは行方をくらました行動さんを彼女の協力を得て探しているのですよ。
Soma was quiet for a while. It looked as though he was turning these new discoveries over and over in his head.
雪村先輩、一つ聞きたいことがあります。
What is it?
落ち水に携わったのがあなたの父、行動さんだとして、先輩はお父上を探してどうなさるおつもりですか？
Well, to be fair, the answer is I want to talk to him. First, I want to talk to him. The original reason for me coming to Kyo was to find my father. I was planning on staying with the Shinsengumi only temporarily and cooperating with them. And as soon as I found my father, I was planning on leaving. But not anymore. As I began spending time with the Shinsengumi, learning about the water of life and the Furies, I learned just how deeply my father was involved with the water of life. Now, it's like I don't even know who my father is anymore, or what's going on in his head. So I want to see him, speak with him, and have him answer some of my questions. I want him to take responsibility for bringing the water of life to the Shinsengumi. At least, that's what I've been thinking lately. That was all true. If my father was the one who created the water of life, it seemed reasonable to think he could find ways to suppress the bloodlust, or perhaps even reverse engineer the entire process. I fell silent, and Sana-san, who had been quietly observing, curled his lips and looked up. He faced Soma, looking him directly in the eye.
さて、相馬くん、今話した内容がどれだけの重みを持つか理解できますか？
はい。もしこの話が外部に漏れれば、新選組が揺らぐような事態になってしまう。だからこそ雪村先輩たちも今まで固く口を閉ざしてこられたんですね。納得しました。
その認識は正しいですが、ことは新選組だけの問題ではありません。考えてもみてください。 会津藩預かりの新選組が人を化け物に変えて戦わせる研究を続けていた。人々がそれを知ってしまえば幕府に対する信頼は大きく失墜する。そんなことを許す幕府に義などないと諸藩が立ち上がれば、それを止める手などないでしょう。今あなたが握ったのはそんな情報だということです。
幕府が揺らぐ。
He seemed to picture it in his head, and Soma was at a loss for words. Hearing it articulated in front of me made me feel the secret's burden more than I had a moment ago.
自分にとって荷が重いというなら、今この場で言った話は全て忘れなさい。闇の事情など知らなくとも、新選組の大使として戦うことはできます。
Ah, water bottle.
日の当たる世界だけを歩んでいくのも間違った選択ではありません。それはきっと私にはもう選べない道ですから。
I didn't understand how Sana-san could draw the comparison between himself and Soma, but I could sense some of his usual self-derision. Derision is a weird word. But even then, Soma stood confidently.
いいえ、忘れません。
Despite acknowledging how dark the implications were, he proudly took a step forward.
幹部の皆さんや雪村先輩が今までずっと抱え込んできた秘密、傷つき苦しんで、それでも目をそらさずに立ち向かってきた裏に隠された事情、それを知ってしまったのに目を背けて忘れろなんて、俺には絶対にできません。
Soma.
俺も決して目を背けたりしません。たとえこの道が深い闇に続いていても、絶対に最後まで見届けます。それが新選組の大使となった俺の使命です。
さすが近藤さんや土方君が見込んだだけはあるようですね。
Sana-san gave a small laugh. In fact, it seemed like a genuine laugh rather than his usual snidiness or self-deprecation.
では土方君には改めて私から伝えておきましょう。相馬君、雪村君、これからもよろしくお願いします。
When Sana-san left, Soma gave a big, big sigh. Good job, Soma. I feel like it's been a long while since I've seen Sana-san so happy.
そうなんですか。
I think he was very impressed on how bold you were. Even from my perspective, I think the way Soma acted was quite gallant. He never showed any doubts, and he looked straight into Sana-san's eyes and confronted all of the Shinsengumi's dark secrets. You were really admirable. In that moment, I felt like more of an older sister rather than his teacher, and I smiled. Soma gave a small laugh and then shook his head.
褒めてもらって嬉しいんですが、本当は死ぬほど緊張してたんです。ほら、見てください。話してる間中、ずっと手が震えていたんです。
Then he lifted his hands in front of me, which were trembling non-stop. I touched them with my fingertips. You're right. You're shaking so much. You must have been so nervous.
いや、その震えは別の。なんでもないです。それは先ほどの緊張が続いてるだけですから。
He turned his eyes away, but Soma kept his hands up. I cocked my head in confusion. And that's how the night in which our secrets were revealed ended for me and Soma.